Again, starting with the topic which I will be covering now, continuing to yesterday's basic fundamentals of robotics, we'll be discussing about the robot elements, robot structure which we have seen having the basic four parts as your controller, power source, manipulator, and lastly the end effector, that is end of arm tooling, or we are calling it as a gripper. So these four basic elements consist of your robot system. Only robot is nothing but manipulator with the gripper if you are attaching it. But when you are talking about robot system consists of your robot power source, robot manipulator, robot controller, end effector, and along with that, you will be going to have peripheral devices being connected attached to that robots. So it comes as a part of your sensory devices which will be coming. So before putting the slide, I will again play a short video so that you'll come to know the. This Cygnus is one of the company, and this RoboLink, which is a low-cost robot, which was been developed for 4 degree of freedom, 5 degree of freedom. So what we were talking related to this as a robot controller, power source as a hydraulic or electrical or pneumatic or combined, and your robot manipulator, and to the manipulator you are attaching the end effector at the end. So this is basic structure of your robot and robotic system, which will be all the peripheral devices which will be attached to this robot system, different sensors, external sensors, internal sensors, which are part of your robot system. So that attachment we will be talking today as a gripper. Grippers are the end effectors used to grasp and hold the objects. Whatever grasping is happening or handling of that objects is happening will be with the help of grippers, and these grippers plays a major role in your handling the parts, because it takes care of all the forces which are coming on the robot system. That object has to be picked correctly, properly, without any damage, and it has to be handled effectively to the another location. Also you have to take care of all the uh, that kinematic and dynamic analysis or forces, so as to take care of smooth movement of your robot system. There should not be any uh, hazy movement or maybe the shaky movements for the robot structure. So robot structures will be robust one which will be taking care of all these forces which will be acting while handling the objects, and through different program motions you will be handling the parts. So first part is you are going to handle the objects. So to handle that objects you will be going to have categorization of these grippers as a main source of mechanism. So mechanical grippers are the preferred one for heavy duty, heavy jobs which has to be handled, and you are least bother related to your that scratches or so when you will be handling. But again you will be taking utmost care when you are applying these robot end effectors for handling the objects. So basic categorization which we are considering is mechanical grippers, magnetic grippers, vacuum grippers, adhesive grippers, and some of the miscellaneous devices, all tools which are being attached to your robot wrist, that will be treated as a miscellaneous devices or special purpose devices for performing the task. So going ahead with this mechanical devices, mechanical grippers, again when you are going to consider the objects are of different nature, maybe circular, rectangular, or irregular shape jobs. Whatever may be the shape of that job, when you have to handle it, you have to grasp it properly. And that grasping mechanism which you are going to adopt, it has to be uh, either from the external side or internal side, and that is one of the categorization for classifying these grippers, whether you are calling it as internal gripper or external gripper. So A, that figure A which indicates the hollow job is being grasped by the finger. So whatever that mechanism which you are observing is nothing but a finger which is being actuated. Again at the back it will be either hydraulic cylinder or pneumatic cylinder or electrical motor which will be activating, and you will be actuating the fingers, and fingers will be grasping that internal surface of your hollow cylinder, and that's why it is being called as a internal grasping or internal gripper. So if object is being grasped from the internal surface, that you are calling it as the internal grippers. And second figure, circular job, which is getting grasped from the external side. So you are calling it as an external gripper. So broadly, you have to think that when you are grasping the object from the external surface, that will be external grippers. From internally, you are holding the objects. Generally, those are the hollow objects, and those are nothing but called as the internal grippers. So mechanical gripper, the structure when you are coming across in almost all industries, you will be finding these mechanical grippers are being used as an as a regular practice. And when, because there are many advantages of mechanical gripper, you will be having a lot of power to handle those particular objects, and the fingers which you are using for holding the objects, those are modular type. So as per your requirement you can have the changes in the lengths. So you can see the interchangeable uh, fingers. So that means due to continuous operation of these fingers, when it is getting actuated, there may be chances of wearing of this pressure pad which is being attached at the end of finger. So you can replace that fingers and put shorter fingers or longer fingers according to the job, according to the size and shape of the objects. And likewise there is flexibility in your mechanical grippers to handle the objects. So the linkage mechanism which you are observing is of different nature. As it is mechanical, you will be all doing it through the mechanical linkages, but the actuation mechanism will be either hydraulic, pneumatic, or electrical. And along with that, you may have different mechanisms for operating this particular mechanical clippers. Some of the schematics I will be showing, because whatever the robots which are getting developed for these toy robots or maybe that competition which are getting held all over India and across the globe. These robot competitions, some tasks are being given and you have to perform that task. And for those tasks, a specific kind of linkage mechanism you have to develop, and also it has to be operated. And according to that requirements, you have to have different linkage actuations which can be considered. So there are mechanical actuations, like you can have gears and rack actuation or cam actuation as a part of your mechanical gripper actuation. I will just show few of the schematics, because what happens, your fingers or that end effector, it has to be actuated and it has to grasp that object. And for actuating that fingers, you will be requiring uh, force to be applied. If you are applying force at F1, FA, then and then only FZ force will be getting applied to grasp the object. So you can have some schematics how to apply the forces at different links so as to actuate your that gripping fingers, which will further apply the force which is holding that object. And this grasping in mechanical grippers or in all grippers, the grasping force or that gripping force is playing major role, because all this handling of object will be depending on your gripping, how you grasp that object. If it is a slight less force if you are applying, it will get released from that fingers, and total spoiling of that job will be happening, damaging of that job by releasing that object. Or if you are applying more force, there may be chances of extra deformations for the soft materials, or maybe for some of the objects there may be scratches which will come in. So exact uh, quantity of force you have to decide, and that will be decided by your control system. So again, you will be using different kinds of sensors at the end of this finger, at the end of the joints, at the end of your joints, to give the signals to the controller that whether it is sufficient enough to hold that object or not. So that controlling action will be taken, and accordingly continuous feedback will be given to those actuators for performing the task of grasping. So these are few schematics of mechanical linkages. Different researchers, different books, they are having different mechanisms, and everybody, whenever you are designing any robot gripper, you will have your own concept, your own idea where to actuate, what force to be applied, and that's why it is total freedom to the designer what kind of mechanisms he will be using for making that linkages to be used. This cam and follower, if you observe this particular figure, so this triangular cam part, when it goes ahead, that roller will come up. So as this triangular portion comes, so whatever this particular up and down movement of that cam which is happening, on that basis your opening and closing of end effector, that fingers will be taking place. So exact amount of opening and closing which will be controlled by your cam and follower kind of thing as a mechanical linkage. Or in some of the cases you are going to use that spring actuation also for holding the objects as a part of your applying the forces. You may have different kinds of screw type mechanisms like a lead screw, a motor operated reduction gearbox, and you are having lead screw. So this lead screw is getting operated clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, and with the help of that you can have this finger actuation which will be opening and closing. So if it is clockwise it will get opened, if it is anti-clockwise it get closed, and accordingly you will be going to hold the objects. So these mechanisms will be different for different grasping and the shapes which you are going to handle for the robot system. So different gripper actuations it has been mentioned. You can have rack and pinion arrangement. Central pinion is there, and it will be having teeth over here, and that rack. The track also will have teeth. So clockwise or anti-clockwise rotation of this pinion will lead to move this particular jaw or these fingers, and accordingly you can hold the jaw on the same line. This rotor, it is one finger is fixed, and only this another arm which is getting attached to the rotor, that will get operated, and you can have holding arrangement or grasping arrangement which can be made. So likewise you are going to have these gripper actuations for holding the jobs in mechanical structure. And in all cases, these are few of the schematics. Again, you are going to have rack and pinion. These gears are getting actuated. So for driving the gears, again you will be requiring motor or the shaft which will be getting operated through your drive mechanism. So here it is a rack. Again, this, though there are no teeth being shown, it is schematics. So you will be seeing that this rack is getting to and fro motion, and accordingly this sector of this gear will get engaged, and again this will actuate your rack which will be there on this vertical surface. So opening and closing of that fingers will be taking place with the help of your actuation of your rack movements through linear slide movement. And here it is in rotary movement. With the help of this lead screw and threaded block, it will get opened and closed, because this lead screw will be touching to this finger, and this block will get moved when it is getting rotated clockwise or anti-clockwise, and accordingly you are going to have grasping arrangement which will be done. So these are the modular fingers. So what we were talking related to mechanical grippers, you can have this finger replacement, because if you are running that robot arm and using it for lakhs of cycles to hold that object and put it to another place, at every time you will be going to have friction getting generated at the tip of your fingers, and due to this continuous frictional force which is getting generated, there may be chances of wearing of these particular fingers. So after certain time duration you have to replace the fingers, and that will be done with the help of these modular fingers. So replacement of fingers is possible, as well as different sizes of workpiece can be accommodated by attaching different lengths of these fingers. So if small job is there, you can use small fingers. If it is a long or heavy job with more diameter, larger diameter, in those cases the finger size also will be of larger in nature, because it has to take that load, it has to bear that load, and also it has to get resolved throughout the system. So whatever design of mechanical gripper system, it all depends on the payload carrying capacity, because what type of job it is handling. So what is the weight of that object, that mass into gravitational force, that mg is nothing but your weight of that object. So that weight of object is equal to your grasping force. So self weight of that object must be grasp, and applied force or applied that frictional force on the surface of that object is to be slightly greater than that of the self weight of that job. Then only you will be going to handle the object, otherwise it will get released from the fingers. So second part is the vacuum grippers. I have not touched upon the design part because it will be too much mathematical kind of thing, but you have to keep it in mind. Whatever load which is getting applied, and if you are giving that uh, to a particular area, the load upon area is nothing but your pressure which is getting generated, Pascal's law and universally accepted the phenomena. So whatever pressure which you have to apply to grasp that object, it must be applied in a way that whatever load is coming, and whatever your area which will take that load, so that pressure which is going to get generated, that has to be actuated by your finger, that has to be actuated by your gripper on the surface of your object. So another category of this attachment of your end effector is vacuum grippers. In all cases you may not be able to apply this mechanical fingers or mechanical grippers. There are limitations also. If the surfaces are metallic type, but and also those are having holes on the surfaces, but only you are going to have a single plane, one surface is available for handling. So a flat surface, then it is very difficult to handle the object unless and until you are not having both the sides or from all sides. If you are not able to grasp like your mechanical grippers, you have to go for another alternative like a vacuum grippers or vacuum cups. So vacuum surfaces are just like an extension of vacuum cup principle. It is nothing but Venturi principle which you are going to have. So you will be creating vacuum at that surface, contact surface, and sufficient pressure will be applied so as to hold and handle that object. Afterwards, I will show few of the slides, videos related to this vacuum suction cups, how it is getting operated. So to lift the materials which are of lighter in weight, means lighter in the sense you may have up to 1 kg, 2 kg. In larger industries, you may have up to 10 kg also or more than that. But in those cases, number of vacuum cups you have to increase, and accordingly the complexity will get increase related to this design aspects. But generally, for light load carrying capacities, you are going for vacuum suction cups. It will be requiring flat surfaces to hold the surface, and it will be having vacuum chamber to create the vacuum, and then only you will be going to lift the object. So vacuum grippers are working on Venturi principle. It is applying Bernoulli's principle to create suction, and using compressed air you are going to have this particular generation of vacuum. The pistons are getting operated, or maybe vane drive devices are getting operated with the help of this vacuum generator, and accordingly you are going to have the relative vacuum which is getting created, and you are going to hold the object with the help of these vacuum grippers. So part of your vacuum grippers are nothing but the suction cup, because vacuum gripper will be having attachment of that Venturi device with the vacuum cup. So that attachment, what you will be attaching to the Venturi meter, is nothing but your suction cups. Why we are going for this suction cups or this vacuum grippers? Because it will be requiring only one surface to hold. Uniform pressure will be applied on the surface. In mechanical grippers, if your nature of finger is curvature type, it will be applying pressure on the surface. But if it is flat surface and uniform pressure is to be applied, you can use this suction cups or vacuum grippers. Generally used for light load capacity, applicable to variety of different materials, and also low cost mechanism for this suction cups. These are a few of the attachments. As a vacuum cup, you will be going to attach to the manipulator. So you are observing first one is vacuum cups, and second is nothing but your attachment of that vacuum cup, how it is getting attached with the help of either those knobs or the metallic part which is to be connected to the vacuum cups, and this will be attached to your Venturi meter, and accordingly whatever vacuum is getting created, you will be applying sufficient force on the gripper. These are also vacuum cups or suction cups, different shapes, different sizes according to your requirements which you will be going to have for handling the jobs. And also the nature of that cup which you are observing. Some of them are circular, some of them are elliptical also. So according to the nature of your task or that work, you can select this particular vacuum suction cups. That venturi meter like this, you will be going to attach your vacuum cups. So you have seen that particular attachments, and accordingly you are going to attach to the block. So air in and air out. So this exhaust, which is nothing but your that vacuum which is getting created, and accordingly your interface related to the surface, mating surface, you are going to have. In some of the cases you may have a number of porous holes which will be available, and this complete platform can be used as a part of vacuum gripper. So this is a stack of plastic sheets, and it has to be handled. So only one surface is available. You cannot hold that sheets from both the sides. Only top surface is available. So you are putting this particular vacuum grippers on the top, creating a vacuum at that interface, so that it will be attached to your vacuum cup, and then only you are going to shift it from one place to another place. So in many of the industries, when there are material handling and these tags, and that too sharp edged surfaces at the corners, the sheets which has to be handled by labor or so, it is very difficult to handle these things. So to hold it, uh, 2 to 4 persons will be requiring and holding it, and also the sharp edges of this. Uh, it is plastic sheets which has been mentioned, but you may have metallic sheets. In the sheet metal industries, you will be going to have a number of stacking of this metal uh, tin sheets or maybe other materials. So that handling can be done with the help of these vacuum grippers. So from the top, the vacuum cups will be getting attached, creating a negative pressure or the vacuum at that interface, and then you are going to handle the object. So here also some of the schematics related to curved surfaces. You can have multiple suction cups getting used on the surface, and this dome type surface, you can hold it with the help of multiple these suction cups getting actuated. The vacuum is getting created, and you can hold and handle this particular part effectively. So many advantages. So these are few of the vacuum cups which are being attached to the surface and at the interface, and then you can handle the objects according to requirements, flat, short, or below pads. Like that, you can have different kinds of lengths of these suction cups as per the requirement, and the inclined absorption surfaces which you will be handling. You will be going to have with or without lock rings. So that top portion is nothing but your lock rings. In some of the attachment, we have to attach this with the uh, that knobs, the threaded portion, which will be getting attached to the Venturi device. So in those cases, you will be going to have the knobs or lock rings which will be provided. These are heavy duty oval pads, so oval type surface, and also the material for these pads which is being used as a trill or NVR, or you can have this FKM. These are the material names which are specified. There is no as a full form of this FKM. So it is specific material which is being used, and chlorophane rubbers, especially for these elastomeric properties of these vacuum cups or silicone rubbers. These are the materials which are being used for making these suction cups, which will be effective one. Also, the wear which is happening will be less as compared to mechanical grippers, and different kinds of these elastomers like peak, conductive CR, uh, chronophane rubbers. These are being used, and also you will be providing different holes or ribs or according to your requirements, different uh, shapes, different grooves will be provided on the suction cups. So these are some of the cups from actual industrial applications and those who are manufacturing the suction cups. From those references, I have taken it. Uh, so third category comes under this handling is magnetic grippers. Again, that limitation of earlier vacuum grippers is nothing but if it is hold surface is having multiple holes on the surface, and when you are holding that object, if continuous air comes from the bottom side, then there will not be a negative pressure which is going to get created, and it will not be able to handle. So in those cases you have to go ahead with the magnetic gripper, so that the cold surfaces or metallic objects can be effectively handled by using this magnetic force of that magnet, which you will be using it for handling the parts. So here it is sample example which is being shown, a magnetic plate on the top, and at the bottom you are having multiple jobs. So simultaneously these jobs can be handled from one location to another. So maybe single job or multiple jobs you can handle it by making that plate magnetic. So whether it is permanent magnet or electromagnet, accordingly again you will be going to have categorization of these magnetic grippers. So advantages of this, decreased air cost. In earlier vacuum grippers, you will be requiring a special arrangement of creating that negative pressure. So you will be requiring the vacuum creator uh, drive which will be required to create the vacuum. So vacuum pump will be required. So here it is, you can use permanent magnets or you can use electromagnet. So as and when required, you can generate a electromagnetic force and you can handle the objects. And according to your requirements, what will be the shape and size of object? On that basis, you will be selecting this magnetic grippers and attaching it to your manipulator. So again, there are, for each one of these cases there are mathematical formulations, design analysis, and all. So that has to be taken care, because uh, always if you are applying extra force, it will be all right. But if the magnet which is getting used, if it is not able to generate that electromotive force more than that of your self weight of that object, your object cannot be handled and you cannot move the object from its place. So those design considerations has to be taken care while selecting the components, while designing the robot system, and making it usable. So this is one of the schematics related to magnetic grippers. You may have electromagnetic force which is getting generated, and long sheet, metal sheet can be pulled. But again, limitation of this magnetic gripper is you cannot use it for plastic materials or glass materials or other materials. There is limitation that yes, it must be ferrous materials or sheet metals with ferromagnetic properties only can be handled. So that is one of the limitation of these magnetic grippers. But yes, again, huge capacity of handling the surfaces objects, and you can effectively handle the large shape jobs. So you can have permanent magnet grippers where the permanent magnet being used, and generally the handling is okay. When you are attaching that permanent magnet to the surface, it will get attached. But when you have to detach that part, again you will be requiring the another accessory, that is nothing but your uh, strippers or maybe detaching attachment. With the help of another ear cylinders or another mechanism, you have to detach that particular sheet plate from the permanent magnet which is as a contacting surface. So you have to apply again extra force than that of your magnetic force which is getting applied, so as to remove the part from the that particular gripper. So these are few of the schematics related to robots. Another category that inflatable grippers. So it is part of your vacuum gripper, but here we are going to inflate or expand the surface of that diaphragm. So you are observing here the internal surface of your cylinder is being folded with the help of this diaphragm. So you are having air line which will be giving the air. So you are going to put the compressed air so as to flatten, or you have to expand this balloon kind of thing, and then the internal surface of the cylinder will be getting attached, and again you have to control the that pressure which is going to get generated internally on the surface. Special purpose grippers which you are going to consider will be like a hook or scoop or different tools or ladles. So this hook is nothing but like our eye bolt which you are going to have. So some of the jobs which can be like a hanger that your hook arrangement you can use it. So for handling heavy loads, overload cranes, you might be observed that huge material can be handled on a gantry with the help of these overhead conveyors, and at the bottom you are going to have that uh, eye-shaped hook. So that will be taking all the load, and you can handle that particular thing like a cranes, whatever the overhead cranes, or maybe these uh, cranes which you are observing for pulling purpose, for lifting purpose. So those are nothing but part of hook. So this hook as a attachment you will be putting it to the end effector of robot. Scoop is nothing but a spoon kind of thing. This generally being used for your casting applications when a metal, and that too molten metal, is to be handled of little quantity, to put it into cavity of that mold and to give the shape of required whatever dimensions required profile. So that can be done with the help of scoop. So scoop is directly getting the molten metal from the oven, and then it will be pouring it to the cast that mold so as to get the castings. And ladle is nothing but a bucket kind of thing, huge structures when you will be requiring maybe 10 kg, 20 kg, 5 kg kind of thing. As a aluminum casting you have to make it, all these engines and the parts, complex shapes which has to be made. So in those material handling, and that too metal handling and hot metal handling with liquid hot metal, so that handling is very very difficult with the human being. So you can depute these robots for handling these molten metals and use it for the casting application. So almost all casting industries you will be finding they are deputing these robots for pouring the molten metal into cavities. So the one of its methods limitation is that the amount of material being scooped by the robot is sometimes difficult to control. So how much is to be poured and how much is to be, because extra pouring also will be making a defective product, or less pouring also will make it defective. So you have to control again how much is the quantity which is to be poured, and also while transferring that hot material you have to maintain that temperature and pouring point whatever you are going to have. So if it is getting cooled, again there will be defects which will be happening in the casting, so it has to be controlled. So all it has to be programmed effectively while using this robot attachments for handling this particular molten metal. So this is scoop, a large spoon kind of thing, and ladle of the similar nature which you are going to have. Another part is collets for attachments like your drill tool or any other uh, attachments. You are going to have to hold the tools. You can have the collet grippers being used. So this is generally used for pick and place kind of cylindrical parts because collet will take care of that surface, circular surfaces, or the external surface of the tools, or maybe jobs also can be handled, and you can have all 360-degree clamping surrounding with the help of this particular collet, generally being used for grinding and deburring operations. So the tools of grinding and deburring, enlargement of holes, those tools can be holded with the help of these grippers. Collet grippers are available in round, square, and hex shape. So different kinds of collets you can have, and you can attach it as an attachment to your robot system. So inflatable grippers, which we have seen as a inflatable diaphragm. So on the similar line, you will be going to have the expandable grippers also. So when you are going to have internal surfaces getting hold, you are going to use inflatable grippers. But when you are going to use external surfaces to be grasped, you can use this inflatable gripper and expandable grippers. When from the external surface you will be grasping the object, and generally these will be the irregular shaped work pieces. So those you will be covering those and then creating vacuum kind of thing, and it will be getting enclosed inside that particular uh, surface, and you can handle those things. So surrounding the object of grasping, and then from the outside, and then gripping it with the hollow objects from the inside. So all these cases are nothing but special attachments which you are going to use it. Generally, these expandable grippers are being used for fragile parts, soft materials, when you are going to want to handle those jobs. Some of the design criteria when we have to go for design of robot systems, you have to mainly focus on what surface is to be grasped, what is the target area which is to be grasped, what is the shape and size of your object, because on that basis only your force will be getting applied, and you will be going to consider those things for actuation mechanism, for your controlling mechanism. All it has to be given as an input to the controller, then and then only you will be effectively handling the thing. So it is not so easy that just you are taking any dimensions and asking robot to handle the things. It is a lot of engineering work which is happening behind that, when you are going to have this designing of robot systems with all these control electronics control systems and your mechanical systems. All the problems related to scratching, distortion, or maybe damaging those surfaces has to be taken care. So enough number of uh, cautions has to be taken so as to have the handling of the objects with proper care. So the dimensions also, if there are variation in the dimensions which are happening from the production line, in those cases also your robot or that gripper, it should be uh, interchangeable, or it should occupy those objects. So slight changes in the dimensions, your robot gripper should be adaptive enough so as to change the shape, in the sense the opening area or closing area of that fingers, or maybe the pressure pads or vacuum suction cup which you will be using, applying that particular sufficient force if there is change in your dimensions of object. Gripper fingers can be designed to conform to the part shape using resilience pads for self-aligning fingers. So there are many attachments which you will be going to get, different pads you will be going to get which can be attached along with finger so as to have handling uh, effectively of those surfaces. So many design criteria are there. You have to take care of all those because all this design will revolve around grasping force. So what is the weight of the object? What is the speed and acceleration at which you will be moving that object from one location to another location? Because that also matters. At what speed you are moving your robot arm. So because that whatever velocity which will be getting generated, acceleration which will be getting generated, so those forces also will be getting affected and those will be applying on the robot structure, and that's why you are going to take these things into consideration. The physical structure and the frictional forces we have to consider, and also coefficient of friction as a surface coefficient of friction has to be properly considered so as to hold the object in mechanical as well as in vacuum and magnetic grippers also. In all cases, there will be coefficient of friction of the interfacing surfaces that has to be properly selected so as to have your effective handling of the objects. There are process toolings. Many of the industries they are using this uh, elec- guns. That means spray guns or maybe your welding guns. So those comes under this process toolings. So as per your requirements, you will be changing those tools and using it for the application, and you will be completing your task, completing your work cycles, number of cycles which you will be requiring, and accordingly, the attachment of this special process tooling will be done. These are some of the toolings: arc welding, your nut tightening, or maybe flame hardening, maybe spray painting, deburring. So these are some of the uh, sketches of your attachments related to the end effectors or toolings which can be attached to the grippers. These are the toolings. So all these toolings will help us to hold the object effectively and handle it effectively while moving the parts from the surfaces. So this was about the grippers as a part of robot elements. Briefly, I will go to the another elements, but prior to that, whatever part which we have discussed, I will just share it few of the things. Uh, the grippers which we have seen, I will just play handling of material with the help of these vacuum cups, how it is working. So you see, this is a
One
mechanical
practical
gripper,
related example is
and these
when
are the
wires
linear
of a weight of
actuators.
50 to 200 grams are transferred from a machining center to a rotary indexing table. The required cycle rate is made possible by the soft stop system. The drives have backlash-free
These
guidance
are the
and have a
fingers,
repetition
mechanical fingers,
accuracy
which are
of a
getting
few
actuated with
thousandths of a
pneumatic
millimeter. This
actuation,
ensures permanent precision handling.
and two finger gripper. So yes, I forgot to tell how many number of
The
fingers you will
solution
be
of attaching
using.
all
Accordingly, also
components
you can
to one
classify it.
mounting plate
And this
keeps
is pneumatic
assembling
system. So
expenditure
you are
to a
having
minimum for the user.
FRL unit, compressed air, this regulator, and lubricator. So the connectivity is related to this FRL with the pneumatic actuation. This is Festo setup. Festo is a renowned company related to this pneumatics, and all the attachments, all the pneumatic sensors which you are going to use will be using this particular cups. So I will
With
just
automation
please
technology, almost
see
anything is
it.
possible. The many surface structures and contours of components require new gripping techniques and more adaptable suction cups. The Festo range includes
These are
2,000
the suction
suction
cups
gripper
which we were
variants,
talking.
with cups ranging from 1 to 200 5 different materials, 6 shapes, and 12 different holders. This enables us to adapt our products to suit the application, while at the same time reducing cost. A 3-jaw HGD grips the vacuum generator modules and supplies them with vacuum.
So this whatever movement is happening is linear drive, which we are talking, linear actuation, which is happening with the help of pneumatic cylinder. All this is pneumatic actuation. All that slides are getting actuated with the pneumatic drive, pneumatic motors, and with the PLC control, you can have uh, control unit. Along with this, you can have PLCs being interface for low cost automation of these robots. If you are having glass sheets, glass plates, how to go with those glass sheets?
It's hot work handling glowing glass plates. Yet with silicone suction cups from our ES range, it's no problem
See,
working
these are
objects
the
with surface
vertical
temperatures
glass
of up
plates
to
which has been
190
put
degrees
it,
Celsius.
and temperature if it is also high, 80, 90 degree. So manual handling is very
The
very
digital displacement
difficult.
encoder integrated in the DGPI linear drive saves space and, at the same time, is protected against contamination.
So now
The
you are
SPC200 Smart Positioning Controller is optimized for single and double pneumatic axis systems, but can also be expanded to control up to 4 axes.
so these are the
With the help of
pneumatic
an
motors
intermediate position module, the
and your
compact
drives which you are going to
VRQD
use.
twin piston drive performs 2 swivel movements of 90 degrees.
So that operation of 90-degree rotation, that actuation is opening and closing of these pneumatic walls to this attachment, and accordingly you can have these particular motions which will be happening. So in automation, what we have seen yesterday, few of the slides related to this, the KUKA robot. This is one of the handling of rods with the help of KUKA robot. So these are collaborative robot kind of thing, but not with the human being. These are collaboration between two robots. One robot is doing some task, and afterwards another robot is handling that job. So likewise, synchronization has been done. The bending and all these operations are being performed with the help of press machines. Then you can have different shaping of those rods, but holding is being done with the help of robot, and this will be difficult with the human being. So, so likewise, you are going to have numerically controlled machines or computer controlled machines which are getting operated. So you are going to have interface between robots as well as those press machines, die machines, or other machines which are there. So likewise, you are going to have the movements. So these are the different applications. The measurement, automatic measurement of this, taking out the thing, assembly of those So one by one, those parts are getting picked up and you are joining it, putting it to the location. So these are special tools which you are going to use it. These are the weld guns, you can say. And also you can connect through the cloud. You can control this robot through the programmed motion. All the data can be collected, all the process can be simulated. You can get ready data available, how many number of jobs it has been done, what was the preciseness, how many tasks has been completed. Likewise, you can have IoT-based robotic system which can be implemented. This is welding, spot welding which is being done. And also in the simulation, you will be going to get what is the resistance, how much is the force. So that simulation also you can get it. Likewise, IoT based data you can get when you are applying this robot. Yesterday you have learned. So this is pitch pendant for KUKA robot. Every robot will have its own pitch pendant configuration. This is one of the inspection kind of thing, course, and you can get graphs on the interface. So on the teach pendant, all the data will be getting considered. This is giant robot, which we were considered that initially for the Cartesian type robot for laser cutting. So huge structure, the arm is getting moved on the top. This is laser marking initially. So you are marking all the holes, small those, and at different inclination, different angles, because it is very difficult for human beings. So all that marking from different corners you are going to have, and afterwards you may have the cutting, engraving, or gluing for those locations which can be done. So you see contact tips for measuring, for applying, or different cutters or laser cutters, huge structures you can use for spot welding, and complete structure is getting rotated. So machining surface and welding surface, robot interface, it will be a different interface. This is mechanical type, again online gauging, measurement of that sheets, whether it is same thickness or not. So online measurement you can do it. So that quality check, 100% quality check can be done with the help of these robots. See the flat surface. So your gripper also may be of flat nature with the magnetic kind of thing. This is mechanical gripper again for packaging applications or assembling applications. Assembly of that rods into holes. 4 robots working simultaneously on the robot system. The job. So cleaning of that holes, inspecting those holes, it can be done with the help of these particular attachments, and all joints you are observing how flexible it is, and you can get all those as it is welding torques, that the current flow or those things can be measured. with different jobs, loading and unloading of the parts on the machinery, huge machines taking out the parts. This is mechanical fingers. So whatever we are talking related to that gripper, you can have these attachments as a gripper, and that curved part which you are seeing as a pressure pads. So those attachments you are going to have replacing those things as per requirement, and you will be going to have force sensors also. So I think this gives you the detailing of all these mechanisms. Simultaneously, you are going to have multiple jobs which can be handled as per the dimensions you can have. And this is a attachment that pressure pads, suction cups, multiple suction cups being used. So sheet is being handled. So same robot with different attachments, you are going to have different handling which can be done. And lastly, these are also phase 2 D1 handlings. You can see the linear actuators which we are talking, the cylinder which is coming out, so that actuation, pneumatic actuation which is happening, the mechanical gripper, vacuum gripper which is getting operated. So these are the dial gauges which are to be handled. So when it has to handle from the top surface, you are using vacuum gripper, and when it is to be holded at the threaded portion, so now see the vacuum which is getting created and you are handling it, putting it to another location, and when it is being put, you are handling it through the mechanical gripper. So this linear actuation as well as vacuum grippers are nothing but part of your robot elements, robot grippers overall. So I think again I will briefly go through sensors and actuators. Already majority of portion is being covered. I will rush through this because today's speaker who was uh, will giving these insights related to sensors and actuators, majority of thing has been covered in the morning session. But again, a brief I will go through actuators, mainly the actuation movements whatever you are going to have. So main source of actuation is power source, and that too hydraulic, pneumatic or electrical drives. This is the main source of your actuation for all the elements, and all those joints, whatever joints you are going to use for your robot structure, mechanical structure, all will be operated either hydraulically, pneumatically, electrically, or combination of these in your robot system. Hydraulic actuators, a huge setup, because hydraulic operation which will be happening through the hydraulic power pack, and you will be requiring huge amount of oil as a reservoir which will be recirculated, and you are using that incompressible oil so as to handle the heavy jobs. So you will not be bothering in those cases about the quality and accuracy of that, preciseness of that robot, but it will be handling heavy structures, heavy loads, maybe 100 kg, 50 kg, 10 kg, like that. If huge job has to be moved, you'll be slightly here and there, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, that will not make much difference, but still it will try to have uh, uh, precise positioning, but the limitations of the mechanical structure and all, you may uh, have least vibration, a high power to weight ratio for this hydraulic system. Controlling is through solenoid valve or servo control valve. An entire system is electrical motor or pumps or accumulators, cylinders which are to be used for this hydraulic systems. Pneumatic systems. I'm just going through those because again in the afternoon session you will be going to have hands-on kind of thing, hands-on in the sense demonstration of all these simulation softwares related to hydraulics and pneumatics. We are having phase 2 softwares and also automation studio at our place, and our students they are regularly using this as a simulation tool for any kind of this hydraulics and pneumatic actuation. Electrical actuations are different kinds of stepper motors, permanent magnet DC motors, and brushless motors. This comes under that motor electrical motor category. And also various speakers they have talked about stepper motors, uh, then servo motors and DC servo motors for control actions, feedback control actions, also closed loop control actions for this actuation mechanisms. So different constructions, different sizes, and their working with reference to your requirements. You are going to select these, and also all these drives are interconnected or along with different sensory mechanisms. So these servo drives will be having optical encoders or tacho generators, which will be giving the information related to the position and how much is the orientation of that uh, drive which has been achieved. So that feedback will be given to the controller, and accordingly you are going to have positional movements happening. Different kinds of these ACDC servo motors, glimpses of those, and there are different sites also which has been mentioned related to this. Transmissions, there are all these mechanisms which has to be transferred. So you will be requiring linear or rotary. These are the mainly two transmissions which are happening. You have seen linear motions which are happening in the robot structure and rotary motions which are happening. So L type or linear type or prismatic type and R type as a rotary type you are going to have. So while designing the robot structure, you have to take care of stiffness, low weight, backslash free, and efficient. This has to be taken care when we will be selecting the drives and using it for our actuating mechanisms. Various gearboxes, belts and chain drives, harmonic drives, ball screws, rack and pinion drives, and kinematic linkages. These are the elements of your robot system, or you can say actuating mechanisms which are being used for your drives. So those are being shown represented with the schematics. And whatever in the morning session also, Dr. Dhanvijay sir has talked about variety of sensors. Same has been considered many times. You will finding similar kind of terms are being used because in mechatronics also sensors are coming as a part of elements. Sensors are coming, and other speaker also may talk related to this. Maybe the wordings, maybe the content will be different, but same things which will be in different way. It has been put uh, for the understanding as well as for uh, the implementation of this robot system, because sensors are a feedback system which gives correctness and effectiveness of your robot working. So all these signals from the sensors are communicated to the robot controller, and then robot controller will take action about those particular signals. So it is a device to make a measurement of physical variable of interest. So what you are looking for related to those particular signals, you will be going to send the information. And generally it is electrical signal which you are considering. and that has to be converted into other category of signals, mechanical signals, actuations, which has to be happen. Classification, as it has been done, internal state sensors and external state sensors. So the robot system, whatever internal elements are there and their feedback given to controller, it will be internal state sensors. Whereas from the surrounding, if you are putting some cameras, some CCD or CID cameras, some other sensors, and that has to be communicated to our robot system, then it will be external state sensors. Many times your robot is working along with different machineries. So whether that machine is operating, whether that machine has finished the task or not, that will be checked, and accordingly you are going to have these operations of signals of those sensors will be given. So different design features for sensor selection, what it should have: high accuracy, high preciseness, linear response, large operating ranges, low response time. It should respond fast, easy to calibrate, because after certain time of usage, every sensor will have a certain error which is going to be get. So that has to be calibrated and it has to be set so that you can have precise measurements which will be happening through the sensors. Also we will be always expecting that it should be reliable and robust, and also we will be expecting that it should be available at low cost. So these are some of the preferable things which are being mentioned. Internal and external sensors, which we have discussed, and earlier session also it has been discussed. So internal sensors will be related to joint positions, joint velocities, joint torque and forces which are being applied, whereas joint position sensors, angular or linear motions which are being considered with the optical, magnetic or capacitive sensors. Some of the potentiometers and linear analog resistive or digital encoders are being used as internal sensors for the robots. So this has been given in detail related to internal sensors. When you come to external sensors, mainly it is the grasping elements as well as from the sensors from outside the system. That means external sensors. So that external sensors again being categorized into contacting sensors and non-contacting sensors. So touch sensors are nothing but contact type sensors which are directly coming in contact with the objects or surfaces, and then it will be giving signal that yes, object is present. Whereas non-contacting sensors, these are uh, identifying the objects from particular distance, and then it will be indicating that yes, presence or absence of that object or device that can be given. So it will be either proximity or range or color sense or speed sense or other signals which you can get it through the sensors. Already optical encoders has been discussed with the earlier speaker. So these are directly mounted things on the drives which will be giving you the feedback, and accordingly your motion will be controlled. Then potentiometers at some of the earlier robots it was there. Nowadays it has been totally replaced with the encoders. In earlier cases it was this voltage which is directly proportional to resistance, and that resistance is directly proportional to rotation of joint. So how much rotation has happened, that can be indicated with the help of potentiometers. So this was old application of these potentiometers. In resolvers are also being used for getting the position of these drives with the that 90-degree phase difference which you are going to get with different voltage signals, and accordingly you can have the position which can be analyzed. Tachometers or tacho generators also give the position at different uh, time durations at different locations, what position was there. So it is nothing but voltage signal is proportional to your velocity, and that angular velocity of rotor it will be going to get controlled. Force and torque sensors are also being discussed. So almost all these forces which are getting exerted and torque which is getting generated, that has to be sensed and send it to the controller so as to handle that job effectively. These are some of the elements which are mounted on the robot end effector so as to get the how much is the force being exerted on the wrist, on the joint, on the fingers. Likewise, you are going to have these blocks which are being mounted. It is inbuilt structure of robot. In some of the cases, you may have flex pads or flex force sensors, strips of those particular strain gauges which are being used, and you can get the forces which is getting exerted on the surfaces. So these are some of the contact type sensors with micro switches or fingers which are being put. After touching only, it is going to get a feeling of that object whether it has been captured or not. And non-contact type, so in contact type you are going to have again whether it is single micro switch or multiple array of those micro buttons or switches. Accordingly you can have tactile array sensor, tactile in the sense touch sensors, and array is nothing but if you are having number of these uh, sensing pads, sensing buttons which are available, then you can have tactile array sensor. So it will detect the presence of object as well as it will also find out due to that resistance which is getting generated at the tip of that pressure sensors. You will be coming to know the shape and size of that object also. So for that purpose you can use it. Also different skins are available. So whatever may be the surface which you are going to hold, so touch kind of sensors, these touch sensors which will generate the conductive voltage to those particular XY directions. So that will give the exact shape and size of the objects. Proximity from certain distance as a non-contact type sensor whenever you are going to use. Ultrasonic sensors again for detecting the object from certain distance. So principle of acoustic waves, you will be going to use it as a signal, the transmitted signal and receiving signal you are going to capture, and on that basis you will be finding how far that object is or is there any obstacle in the vicinity or that. So in both ways you can use these ultrasonic sensors as a proximity switches or proximity sensors. Ultrasonic proximity sensors, some of the important features and the applications. Then optical sensors also you are going to have light beam sensors. So from one point you are going to have photodiodes which will be emitting the light source and it will be getting captured at another end. And through that also, what is the time lapse for emitting and receiving. So you can judge the distance of that object or that particular target which will be communicated to the control system. Range sensor also of same nature. You will be going to get the range of that object, how far it is from the sensor. So that can be identified with the help of either triangulation mechanism or structural lightning mechanism, or you will be finding time of flight range, sending and receiving back. And lastly you can use vision system also for this sensing. So this is one of the range sensor schematics. Laser light source is being used and then object is being reflecting that laser light beam back, and then you can have the interfering those things, the signals which is being controlled and analyzed. And the last part of these complex sensors is nothing but machine vision systems, and almost all these robots nowadays will are having this vision system, because like our eyes, robot will be having the vision sensors being mounted and integrated with the control system. So whatever may be the surrounding, that environment of that robot, it will be captured, and whether it is right product, right part which is being uh, collected, operated, So that has to be detected, and accordingly your machine vision system will be working. So all together this is separate domain, again part of your robotic system, but again embedded uh, and sensory system with instrumentation part. All this having the lighting, camera, analog to digital conversion, data processing, image processing, and then finally the robot application. That means exact target which we are deciding, whether identification of job, inspection of that job, or maybe taking the decision related to that job. That will be done at the end as a task, but prior to that a lot of things has to be taken care, and all these filters, processing of images, initially capturing the information in the form of signals, sampling, quantization, encoding, all this will be part of signal processing, which will be considered, and then it is being used as a part final signal to the controller to be given, and on that basis your controller will act and perform the task. So hurriedly I have touched upon these actuators and sensors, and moreover again these terms will be getting uh, again and again, it will be getting covered by different participant speakers in their lectures in different aspect, different related terms. So with this I think I conclude my session. If any questions are there, I will try to answer it.
So,
Yes, please.
uh, what is the basic difference if we have to write a difference between actuator and a sensor? So, what should be the basic differences?
Yes. So actuator is nothing but the device which will actuate your drive. Drive in the sense, all actuators are nothing but drives. It will move the element, or it will move the part. That means the mechanical structure or whatever linkages you are having or joints you are having, it will be getting transferred. The position is getting shifted in the actuators. Whereas in sensors, you are going to collect the signal from the sensors for getting the reference of that. So the sensors will be mounted on the actuators. So actuating will be the actual desired position, desired movement, which has to be happened by that particular element. Suppose say linear actuator, it will has to have the particular transverse movement. So whether it has been achieved or not, that will be sensed by the sensor. So sensor will be transducer. There you will be only measuring how much is the displacement happened. But happening of the displacement, the power source which will be used, that drive, which will be actually doing that transformation or that movement, that you are calling it as an actuator. One question from Janapriya: how effective are robots in glass industries as the process is more integrate, or for which role are they more effective in glass industries? Okay, generally the glass industry, all these surfaces are, glass is nothing but your material, tough material, but if you are relieving it, improper forces are being applied, and if it get released, there will be damage to those surfaces. So, and also if you are holding it, handling it with the help of mechanical kind of grippers, so it will be having scratches which is undesirable. So you have to go with the suction cups, and definitely as the glass, if you are having sharp edges and corners, which will affect the or cause the injuries to the operator or to the human being while handling, so this has to be avoided. And that's why uh, glass industries, they are using the robotic system, not full-fledged robotic system, but at least for handling of those sheets, they will be creating the vacuum. So they will be using suction cups. They will be having another mechanism to create the vacuum at that interface, and then manually also you can have placing of those complete sheets or complete glass sheets from one place to another place. You may not be, because as all people they will be seeing it from the economic point of view, whether it is cost effective or not. So if production is at that large scale, yes, definitely robots can be deployed. If not, for small scale or medium scale industries, in many of the industries, they are using their devices, handheld devices with vacuum creation with the help of this suction cups and vacuum creator generator, and they are using for lifting of the glass.